Not naming any names, but some politicians will have you believe that electric utes are about to ruin the weekend because they're no good for tradies, they can't tow your boat, and you can't take them camping. Well, if that's what you believe, I've got 3 words for you. Ford F-150 Lightning. This is the first all-electric pickup truck from the US giant and one of only 2 on the market in America, the other being the Rivian R1T. This has the potential to change what you think an electric vehicle is capable of. Because while it's 100% electric, it's also 100% an F-150. We were lucky enough to be in Detroit to drive it and see if it has the potential to be a hit in Australia. Now, as usual, you can read my in-depth written review on the Cars Guide website now. And if you're looking forward to any particular section of this review, well, here are the time codes so you can skip ahead. And of course, it wouldn't be a YouTube video if I didn't tell you to smash the like button and hit subscribe so you can keep up to date every time Cars Guide posts a new video. Now, on with the review. Now, pricing is a tricky question to answer because Ford Australia is yet to confirm if the F-150 Lightning will ever make it to our shores. Now, if it does, given its size and technology, and given what we've already seen with the Chevy Silverado and the Ram 1500, a 6-figure price tag is probably a safe bet. While we can't provide a detailed Australian price and specification rundown, we can explain what Ford charges in the US so you can at least get an idea of what to expect. The lineup begins with the Pro, priced from $39,974 US dollars. It moves up to the XLT for $52,974, and then the Lariat, which costs $67,474, before the range is topped by the Platinum, priced from $90,874 US dollars. The XLT and the Platinum are what we spent the majority of our time in, so we'll focus on those for this review. As a very rough guide, those US prices convert to approximately $60,000 for the entry-level Pro, $80,000 for the XLT, and $135,000 for the Platinum. But given the cost involved with conversion to right-hand drive, like I say, it's likely that any Australian available Lightning would start well above $100,000 and could stretch even further beyond that for the Platinum. The Pro is, as the name suggests, targeted at tradies and comes equipped with the standard range battery, while some of the equipment highlights include 18-inch alloy wheels, LED headlights, a carbon black grille, plus a strong suite of safety features and a 12-inch infotainment screen that uses Ford's Sync 4 system. Stepping up to the XLT brings unique 18-inch alloy wheels, leather trim, power adjustable seats and other creature comforts, as well as the option to upgrade to the extended range battery. The range top in Platinum may look like a ute, but it feels like a luxury car in many respects. It rides on 22-inch alloy wheels, gets body-coloured bumpers and a huge 15.5-inch infotainment screen that makes it look and feel high-tech thanks to its newer Sync 4A system. Plus, it has helpful features such as an onboard smart scale in the tray and a tailgate step that we'll detail in a moment. While it's too early to make any judgments on whether a 6-figure electric ute would be a good value in Australia, but certainly all the pieces are there for Ford to create a compelling range for the local market. There's a lot to like about the design of the F-150 Lightning because Ford didn't just drop their petrol engines out and chuck in some electric motors. They took a more holistic approach to the design. So while it still looks like an F-150, it also looks unique. It looks sleeker and more aerodynamic, which is a critical element for any electric vehicle. The unique design allows Ford to do clever little things like this. It's the front trunk, or frunk as Americans like to call it. And I say little, but it's not. It's a 400-litre storage area under the bonnet where the motor usually would be. It's got a hard working floor. It's got a ruler built into it. It's even got a little divider if you want to store wet clothes or something. It's got power points, including a USB outlet. It is, in a word, ideal if you're a tradie or if you want to go camping on the weekend. Another cool tradie-friendly feature is this power tailgate on this high-spec Platinum model. Gives you this, there's 2 rulers actually built in, inches because it's an American car, but centimeters because, well, it's just a common sense way of measuring things. But then the real piece de resistance is this. Let's pop this bad boy out and step up into the tray in style. And as we mentioned earlier, the Lightning is available with something Ford calls its Smart Scale, which is able to measure how much load is in the tray and adjust the driving range displayed on the dash accordingly, so you can safely plan your trips. Moving inside, the XLT was impressive with its space and practicality, with the 12-inch infotainment screen doing a good job and backed up by physical buttons for the air conditioning and stereo. However, the Platinum really steps it up a level with its more premium design centered around a huge tablet-style screen. Overall, the design of the Lightning, inside and out, takes the strengths of the F-150 and adds elements that, being electric, allows it to create something pretty special. Both the XLT and Platinum really impress in terms of space, which shouldn't be too surprising given how big the F-150 is. But when you factor in the quieter driving experience, it does elevate the Lightning above just a humble ute and pushes it into the space of potentially competing with luxury SUVs. With its huge screen running Ford's more advanced and stylish Sync 4A infotainment system, it really does border on luxury car levels of refinement and usability. The front seats are wide and comfortable, and between them is a very large center console with plenty of small item storage, as well as not so small item storage. Out the back, the tray measures 170 centimeters long by 128 centimeters wide between the wheel arches, with a total volume measuring just over 1,500 litres, which is of course in addition to the 400 litre frunk. Payload and towing capabilities differ between the two battery packs available. With the standard range battery, the Lightning can manage a payload of 1,013 kilograms with a maximum towing capability of 2,267 kilograms. With the extended range battery, the payload drops to just 885 kilograms, but the towing capacity increases to around 3,500 kilograms, which is roughly on par with the Ranger. However, add the Max trailer towing package and selected extended range battery equipped models can handle up to 4,500 kilograms of towing. That's not all, because Ford bills the tailgate as a workbench on wheels thanks to its non-slip surface with built-in rulers, slots for clamps, and even cup holders. Now we call this section under the bonnet, but as we've just seen, what's under the bonnet is actually a storage area. So I guess more accurately we would call this what's underneath the F-150 Lightning. That's because it's a more bespoke electric vehicle, Ford has been able to package the battery effectively inside the frame, which frees up cabin space, and then the electric motors sit underneath the tray at the back and are packaged sort of, I guess, more underneath the dash in the front. There are two electric motors, one on each axle, that makes 337 kilowatts and 1,050 newton meters with the standard range battery, or 433 kilowatts and the same 1,050 newton meters with the extended range battery. The specs on those batteries are 98 kilowatt hours for the standard, which gives it a 370 kilometer driving range, while the extended range has 130 kilowatt hours of usable energy, and as the name promises, it extends driving range on a single charge to more than 480 kilometers. I honestly didn't know quite what to expect driving the Lightning, but I tell you the thing that jumps out immediately is how quiet it is. It is one of the quietest vehicles I think I've ever driven, including luxury cars. It is just, there's no tyre noise, there's a little bit of wind noise around these very big side mirrors, but overall it's an incredibly isolated experience from the outside world. It's got fantastic, cabin ambience because it's just so relaxed and quiet to drive, which is not the impression you typically get from these big American pickup trucks. And then in terms of actual performance and how it drives, well, given the amount of power and torque these electric motors produce, not surprisingly, it is, as the name suggests, lightningly quick. The ability to build speed is phenomenal. You can really shove you back in your seat. You'll, scare the living daylights out of your passengers with just how ferociously it accelerates, all in near silence. At the end of the day, it's still an F-150, and so it's still a big ladder frame truck. So the ride is a little bit jittery. It's not exactly a small vehicle because it's so big and so heavy. It's not going to handle like a sports car. I mean, it's a big old truck. But obviously in America, where we're driving it, the roads are built for it. So, it's easy enough to live with around town, and we're driving out on some more open roads. And quite frankly, because of the performance, the steering's nice and light, it's actually a very easy, very big vehicle to live with. As mentioned earlier, Ford's claimed driving range for the standard battery model is 370 kilometres, while the extended range stretches it to 480 kilometres between charging stops. Those are solid but unspectacular numbers for modern EVs, but when you factor in the size and capability of F-150 Lightning, they start to look a bit more impressive. Obviously, the biggest challenge for any would-be buyer is that taking an electric vehicle for a longer road trip or weekend getaway in the Australian bush might be challenging. But for those who need their ute for a more urban life, it will be more than suitable. In many respects, the verdict for the F-150 Lightning is simple. Please bring it to Australia, Ford. This would be a genuine game changer in the local market, ushering in a new era of electric utes. Utes that are more than capable of helping out tradies and those who love adventure equally. And given there are currently no rivals for the Lightning, it's hard to give the F-150 Lightning anything less than 9 out of 10. It isn't a faultless vehicle, but the biggest criticism of it right now is simply that it's not available in Australia. At least not yet.